Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today we're going to do something weird. We're going to code in PHP. Nothing wrong with PHP, it's just weird because we usually don't code with PHP. We roll with JavaScript around here, but I have to. I don't really have another option. So let me kind of break down what the problem is and how I think we're going to solve it. And if any of you have better ideas, please let me know. I'm open to trying anything at this point because I need to get some data. It's really important, and our current setup won't allow for getting the data that we need. So here's what's happening. I've made these custom fields. So if you're not familiar with WordPress, this might not make sense at first, but then hopefully once we get into it, it'll make a little bit more sense. But on the posts, we made all these custom post types, right? And we have these posts. Well, I've added in some custom fields, right? By default, WordPress has certain fields like a title and content, things like that. Well, I needed more than that. All right, and you'll see why when we look at a specific case. But I can't access that data through GraphQL. So we're using that wpGraphQL plugin, and it doesn't give us data from those custom fields by default. Okay, so to complicate it a little bit more, I've used a plugin called Advanced Custom Fields Pro to get that data, or I'm sorry, to make those fields. So what I need to do is figure out a way in PHP. So most likely we'll either add to the PHP plugin that we've been using to make all the custom post types, or we'll have a new one. I haven't really decided yet. We need to figure out some way to make the data from those fields available in GraphQL through that wpGraphQL plugin. So I have some ideas. So I went to the Git repository, and there were some other people that were trying to do the same thing. So I have some ideas based on what they've posted of their solutions, and hopefully from their solutions we'll be able to piece something together that'll work for our use case. That's the plan. So if anybody has any skills with WordPress, PHP, WordPress plugins, then you're most welcome here, and feel free to chime in at any point. All right, so I just got a message from one of my student workers, and he does not have the level of access necessary to do what I just asked him to do in WordPress. So let me give him access real quick, and then we'll get started. If you notice my head like kind of bobbing, I'm listening to like 90s rap music right now on Spotify. So I just finished the second season of Luke Cage on Netflix, and so now I'm of course like remembering all this old school rap music because it's all the soundtrack for that show is all that kind of stuff. So apologies to that. Anybody else a fan of Luke Cage or any of the Marvel series on Netflix? I'm a big fan. Luke Cage is one of my favorites. I'd probably say Luke Cage and Daredevil are my favorites out of all the Marvel series. Okay. Alright, so I gave him access. Let's see. Alright, so I just made the student worker an admin. Hopefully he doesn't mess anything up. He seems to catch on pretty quickly though to everything, so I think it'll be good. So I just messaged him and said, with great power comes great responsibility. So see, if anybody gets that reference, let me know where it's from. Alright, cool. We're up to a decent viewer count now, so I think now is a great time for me to get my face off the screen and switch over. Alright, cool. So let me show you what's going on here. So this is what is this? Graphical, I think that's how you pronounce it. Graphical. It's a Chrome browser plugin that lets us search through our GraphQL data. So I've just searched for menus. So this is the custom post type that I made and that I'm using these custom fields with. And you can see here's what's available. These are all the fields that are available for me to get data from. And there's a lot of stuff there. Actually, I'm probably blocking some of it. It doesn't matter because the stuff we want is not there. Right? And if you have this extension, you can check out what we have in GraphQL as well if you'd like. But yeah, I can't get access to that. So we need to change that. So let me show you. Let me log in here and I'm going to show you what this post looks like. And menus. There we go. Menus. Let's see. Maybe this one. Alright, cool. So we have, this would be a navigation menu that would kind of show up on the right hand side and just scroll with the user. And this navigation menu would include these links, and it would appear on all pages that have to do with Franciscan Press or Franciscan University Press. I think we should just call it Franciscan Press though, because otherwise it gets shortened to FU Press, and that's not really a good name, right? Let me get. All right, Christopher's asking for the link. I'll put that in the description. Yeah, that's my fault. I should have just put it in anyway. Oops. Alright, the link to the GraphQL endpoint that I'm working with is now in the live chat. So you can check that out if you want. And I'm going to throw in the link to the dev version of the website. dev.franciscan.university. So you can check that out as well. That should not take that long. I thought I set it up to always keep at least one instance running. I have to work on that. If anybody uses now from Zeit, and you know why this could be taking so long, let me know. Because I'm not, it shouldn't take that long. Okay. So let's go to a place that should have this menu. So let's check out Franciscan, the press thing. Let's see, maybe Franciscan Magazine should have. I don't even have that route set up yet. Okay. I still have to set that one up. Some of the stuff down lower on the menu, I guess, didn't get set up. Households. Oh, there we go. That's kind of odd. Why isn't that working? Alright, cool. Well, good to see that I still have work to do. Anyway, this households page I know should have a menu, so we're gonna, the menu would just be on this side, right where I'm kind of moving my mouse, and it would just scroll down with the user. So I just wanted to let you know where this menu would be, and then on mobile I think the menu would drop to the bottom. So we'll actually make two different menus, and we'll just switch out visibility based on screen width, and we can do that just with some media queries with CSS. Alright, and I forgot to set my Pomodoro timer. Let me set that now. So I'm going to code for 25 minutes, and after that I'm going to go to the live chat and answer your questions. So I see some activity there in the chat. So if if you've asked something, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just going to wait until after this 25-minute period is up. Alright. So we probably won't even need to look at this page anymore. We're mainly going to be dealing with this page and with our PHP. So let's scroll over. There we go. So here's our current plugin. The fastest way to get started, I think, would just be to use this same plugin that we've been using for all our custom post types. This plugin is available on GitHub. If you check out that FUS Marcon repository, that's the same place we have the repository for this React project. You'll see this Franciscan custom post types plugin. So you can check that out if you like. It's open source. Feel free to change it, edit it, use it for whatever you need to. But I think we could probably just for now put some stuff down here, and then probably put it in its own plugin at some point, because this plugin is getting really, really huge. All right. Sorry about that. My student worker keeps asking me things on Slack, so I wanted to respond. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is pull over these, I guess, examples that are here in this repo, and I'm going to paste this in the description. So these are attempts that other people have made to get this to work, basically to solve the same problem that we're having. And it seems like at least some of them were successful. Okay, so this one was successful in particular for the repeater field, which is the field that we're using. So I definitely want to try this one first. There's there's one that's shorter, doesn't quite require as many lines of code, that we might be able to utilize later on when we have some more custom fields that aren't as complex as this. But for now, I really want to try to get this repeater field working, because I know if I can get this working, I can probably get anything working. This seems to be the most complex example that we could use. Alright, so first things first, let's just copy and paste this and start editing it and see if we can get a different response here. And with PHP and WordPress plugins in particular, you know pretty much right away if it doesn't work, because usually everything crashes. So it'll be obvious if we messed it up. And then also, if we don't see the right data here, then we'll know right away. Okay. Alright. It always seems like I'm looking away from the camera, but my other monitor is over here. So I was gonna move the webcam to show you, but I don't want to move it and then give everybody motion sickness, so I'm gonna hold off on that. But my other monitor is here. That's why I keep looking away. Alright. So I'm gonna read through this. Anybody that's better at PHP than I am, which wouldn't be that hard to be better than me at PHP, please correct me if I'm reading this wrong, but I'm just going to try to think through this so I can get some idea of what's going on before we jump in and start changing things. Okay. So we're adding an action, GraphQL exhibit fields, and a lot of these functions are built into WordPress, so we just kind of have to assume like this is going to work, this function does something, if we really are confused, we can look it up and probably we'll be able to find it in the WordPress documentation. Alright, so we're going to add an action, GraphQL fields, function fields. Okay. Making an object. Okay, so it looks like in this case, session. Okay, so session is the name of a field. Alright, good. So let's change session right now. Oh, sessions type. Alright. Sessions type, sessions field. Yeah, let's change every instance of session to link, since that's what we're dealing with in this particular case. So we'll just get that change right away. Link. Why did I have? For some reason, it's putting two S's there, but anyway. All right, links type links, and then I need to capitalize it here, and I can't remember if that was supposed to be capitalized or not. Let's capitalize it. Okay. Oh, John, you caught that about too many S's there. Thank you. All right, so now let's continue. So we're creating this new object type. We've given it a name of link, a description, one link row, and then your text domain. I mean, this seems like an example text that, but I'm not sure what's supposed to go in there. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now, and hopefully we'll be able to see this displayed somewhere later on, and then we'll get an idea of what it should be. Alright, so then we have fields. So in this case, the fields that are being defined for each row. So I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but I'm assuming that each one of these is going to be one row of our repeaters. So each row in our repeater fields is made up of two fields. And in this case, they have the UID and the name, but in our case, it's going to be link, well, let's say link URL, and let's call this link name. I'm pretty sure that's what I named them. And in both cases, these are strings, so we don't have to change that. Resolve a custom post type and make sure this is exposed to GraphQL. White MapSpace. Let me check that example here. Where did it go? I don't know what that white MapSpace is. Okay, in this app, I'm reading right here the context of this. There we go. White MapSpace. Sessions have some string fields and a field for a map space. The white MapSpace custom post type. Okay. In this app, we have exhibits. Okay, so the main custom post type is white exhibit custom post type, which can have a list of sessions. That's the repeater field. So in our case, white exhibit is menu. Now I'm not sure. Have some fields. Sessions have some string fields and a field for a map space. White map space custom post type. So I don't know that we need that white map space. I think this would be a field maybe that is connecting us to another post type, which we don't really need right now on that one, but it's good to know that we can do that. So let's get rid of MapSpace. Okay. Alright, so we've gotten rid of that, which is good. It's always nice to get rid of code, especially when you don't really understand it anyway. One less thing to worry about. Alright, define the field containing your repeater. Links. Return a list because repeaters are lists. Okay. Type. Links type. Description. Yeah. Alright. Alright, this is GraphQL exhibit fields. This needs to change, right? Unless this is just, this name could be whatever we want. I guess it doesn't matter, but let's say menus fields. Let's save that. The thing that I don't get is these values should in some way be connected to that menu's custom post type, and I'm not seeing where that connection is. So let me check this again. Alright, I'm going to scroll up and see, because there's a similar solution. And I set each field on my project. I'll return a string. Try this result. Get field. Using ACF's get field instead of get post meta. Did we use get field? Okay, and you see some previous examples with the same problem, which these were, I believe, failed attempts. Oh, it looks like there's a gist here with another solution. We'll take one look at this. Whoa. Okay, so this section looks very similar. But this section is definitely different. Array. Interesting. Custom post section. me see. It says to use this get field, but I didn't see it in here, so let's search for it. There we go. There it is. Get field links. Post. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to try this. So I can't really see exactly how this is going to all link up, but I'm going to try it. Maybe I'm just missing something and it will work. I hope that's the case. Alright, so I just copied that and I'm going to paste it. Oops. Too many things open. Alright. So we're going to go down to plugins. This is the WordPress admin panel in case you're not familiar with that. So I'm going to go down to plugins. If I can find it. There we go. And then editor. You can actually edit the code for plugins right here. It is not recommended, obviously. Right? I would be way more hesitant to do this to a site that was live, but we're still in development mode, so the site has not launched yet, and I'm okay with this. You could definitely crash a live site when doing this. And let's update. And hopefully we don't get a white screen. Hey, great. I'm gonna refresh just to verify. Yeah, no weird white screen. That's awesome. Now let's go back here and I'm just gonna run that and see. I'm gonna click on menu again and see if we can Alright, I'm not getting it there, but potentially it might show up elsewhere. So what did we call that? Link. Let's see if we can find it here. I don't think that worked, but we could try reloading everything. Let me check my time. Alright, so if you're asking questions in the chat, just hang in there for about 6 more minutes and then I'll answer some questions. Alright, this is alphabetical order, so let me I'm just gonna scroll down. Nope, nothing that's a link. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I don't think link is the link we're looking for. I'm gonna verify that now. Yeah, that's definitely not the particular link that we are looking for. That's the permalink. Alright, let me check this out. Hmm. Hmm. Nope. All right, so I'm not seeing anything new in our schema. So first attempt didn't work. Not really surprised at that. So let's see. All right, let's think about this. Description for GraphQL. Okay, so all of this. Define your fields. The description, one link row. Define the field containing a repeater. You know what? I'm wondering if this is case sensitive, and that makes a difference, right? Because I don't know if this would make a difference here. Usually when we're talking about the description, the name can be anything. Link equals get field. Links. How's that? You know what? I should double check and see if what the slug for the repeater is that I actually used. Alright, so let's go in here. Here's our plugin, our custom fields plugin. So we're going to go check out. Every time you make a new field in this plugin, it's given a name, but then it's also given a slug. So the slug is the more useful thing when we're dealing with the code. So let's check out links, and this field name is links. Let's make sure that's how we did it. Yep, so we did say links and not link. So I think this is fine because, are we talking about one link? Yeah. But here we have links. Okay. Alright, so that looks okay. Oliver says set GraphQL exhibit fields and not GraphQL menu fields. Okay, Oliver, yeah, so it was exhibit fields before, but I thought exhibit. I'll try it out. I'll try that out. It just seemed like before that exhibit was specific to the project. Like exhibit was that custom post type. So I will try that out. This will be the last thing I try before I answer some questions. So go back here to this, and I just pasted in the new stuff. Okay, and now I'm gonna do a refresh just to make sure nothing's saved there. Okay. All right. Couldn't get it to work yet. Let's take a 5-minute break, answer some questions. Hopefully, we can think of some other things to try for this. I will say, I assumed that this problem was going to take me a while to figure out. So, like, not something that I would get done during today's stream. So, as long as I'm making some progress, which I think we've made some progress so far, at least in figuring out what a little bit about what doesn't work. So I think we'd be good. Progress is good. Okay. All right, looks like some of you said Spider-Man. I was talking about Marvel characters, and I mentioned earlier that I just finished watching season 2 of Luke Cage, and I really liked it. So it looks like some of you are Spider-Man fans. I always liked Spider-Man when I was younger. That was my favorite. Spider-Man and Wolverine were my favorite when I was younger. I still like them. Alright, looks like a lot of the stuff in the chat are a discussion between some of the people in the chat. So I'm skipping through some of it. If I happen to miss your question because I got lost in that discussion, just ask me again down below. Oh, okay, Christopher, thanks. That graphical extension that I'm using on Chrome is called ChromeQL, ChromeEIQL. So that's supposed to be chromical. I don't know how you pronounce it, but let's see. Christopher said, "Ooh, PHP is gross." Well, I guess everybody has their own preferences for languages. I will say this, it seems like PHP does get hated on quite a bit these days. Christopher says Node.js all the way. Oh, I mean, I much prefer Node, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Says, I've never been a fan of WordPress either. I prefer to implement the thing I'm trying to build either with a library or by writing my own version. Usually works better because I know how it works. Yeah, for sure. In this case, I was not about to write a whole content management system on my own, though. Just didn't have the time or the resources to do it. And I mean, WordPress is extremely stable and has a huge user base, so there's no way I could replicate that. Clerdson says Apollo and Graphic love React Native. I'm also a huge fan of React Native. I have a React Native project going on the side with balance.io. So that project is coming along really well. I can't wait till we're done and I can actually tell you all, like, hey, check it out in the App Store. If any of you are at all interested in cryptocurrency, I think that's going to be a really cool app once we're finished with it. Alright, Automated Sound Kinetic says, hi, I'm new to this channel, I'm 18 and I'm really interested in coding, but I'm really confused about choosing a programming language to start with. Can anyone help me out? Yeah, it definitely depends on what you want to do, but if you have no idea what you want to do, I recommend starting with JavaScript as your first programming language, and here's why. Knowing JavaScript will allow you to make the largest variety of things. With JavaScript, you can, of course, do websites, web apps, but you can also do native apps for both mobile and desktop using Electron and React Native. You can even use JavaScript to do some machine learning with like TensorFlow.js or Brain.js. You can do AR, VR, XR, whatever they're calling, all the augmented reality and different types of reality. There's ways to do it with JavaScript. You can do Internet of Things stuff with JavaScript. I think is the JavaScript library like Johnny 5 that lets you do like Internet of Things stuff. I forget exactly what it's called, but there's really, to my knowledge, no area of programming that you are totally locked out of in JavaScript. But with other programming language, you are a bit more limited, right? So, not that it would be impossible to program a lot of other things in another language, but it's definitely not as easy, right? JavaScript just runs in the browser. So the barrier to entry there is just so low. Now, if you want to go into a specific field, like if you really wanted to do machine learning or data science, I'd say go with Python. If you really, really wanted to focus on mobile apps for either iOS or Android, then maybe you want to specialize, right? So if there's a certain company you really want to work for and they specialize in one thing, go with that. Although if you want to do anything that has to do with the internet, with websites, you're going to have to know some JavaScript at some point, unless you, I don't know, are completely back-end and work in some language, some other language, right? But if you're at all going to touch the front end of any web app, you're going to need to know some JavaScript. So I'd say that's a good place to go in terms of giving you the best opportunity to explore and figure out what you like. If you want to know what's like really easy to pick up, honestly, I think Python's really easy because there's not a whole lot of weird syntax stuff going on with different characters. It's all based on indentation, so Python seems to be easy to pick up. My 8-year-old is learning Python right now, so I think it's way easier for him to use that because it's indentation based instead of trying to look for the weird characters and knowing when to press shift on the keyboard and everything. So that's my opinion on that. So I don't pretend to be an expert, but based on my experience and my knowledge of the field right now, that's what I would go with. Okay. Alright, so I didn't get through all of the chat, but I'm going to restart this Pomodoro timer and then hopefully get through the rest of the chat when we're done. Alright. Let's see. Alright, so we left off with we left off with a failure, right? We can get it to work. And the last thing we tried was switching back to exhibit instead of menus. Now the thing that I thought was odd was that we made no reference to the post type where these fields were being stored, or that these were attached to, right? So that menus post type is where we're entering the data. So I'm wondering if, let's go back to our examples here. I'm wondering if in this example here, where basically this part matches up with this, I'm wondering if all of this has to go with it as well. let's see where I'm gonna copy and paste this just so I can use my editor shortcuts to look through it and get some syntax highlighting on it. But maybe we'll find our answer down here. So let's give it a lot of space so we know what's what. There we go. Now it's so much easier just to read this with the syntax highlighting. Alright, so this is this repeater field. So we're putting in a lot more info about the repeater field. Object type, okay. And then when we get down here, we see we have a different name here. So this is in the stats fields, GraphQL stats fields. Okay, so we're naming this. I kind of think that this could change, and it doesn't necessarily matter. So we get name, stat, description. All right, so this section, like I eventually figured out, is supposed to be like this singular. Okay, so what we've done, what we've done in this section, I think will work. Field stats, type, description. Alright, and what does that compare to? Okay. GraphQL links fields. Alright, so let's grab this. Right, and actually I want to see where this goes. So we have this array here. Do we reference array anywhere down here though? Do we reference that particular array? I don't think so. Okay, let's grab this and we'll add it up here, modify it for what we need. So instead of stats, we're going to say links. Alright, so links, repeater field, and here's this thing, this key of field, and then this. I wonder if we'll need that, and where we can get that from. Like if that value is assigned when we've created that. Let me, I have a fan running in the background on low. Let me know if that noise is, if you can hear that noise, and if it's annoying. I'll try to turn that off if it's getting too annoying for you all. I'm gonna double check my messages here, make sure there's no work messages. There's so many notifications. Alright, I think I'm good though. Okay, that's the only thing that I'm worried about here is that key. Of like, where are we getting that key from? And then the subfields, we definitely need to change. Hmm. I'm wondering. Hmm. I'm gonna leave it as is. What I'm wondering is, would this code actually register new custom fields? Oh, but it's not. It's not applying them anywhere. All right, let me get rid of this stuff down here though. So I definitely don't want this in here. And I'm going to take one more look at this. Something at the bottom that I was interested in here. Okay. All right, so let's just throw this in here right now and see what happens. I'm kind of surprised we didn't get an error already, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get one here. Hey, Niki's here. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, there we go. Your PHP code changes, roll back, because an error line 1703. An unexpected. That's interesting, right? Because we got that, we copied and pasted that right from here. So, okay. Well, let's take that out. I kind of think we'll get another error, but yeah, unexpected use. Alright, so that code's not going to work. Alright, well, let's take some of this out then. What is this? Alright. Let's update, just get rid of those errors. Alright, great. And I want to go back here. Let's go. Where's our menus? I'm gonna go into the menus just to make sure we haven't messed anything up. This would be a good check to make sure that they're right. Please whoa. Alright, that's definitely not the right URL. The old site has some weird stuff like this, so in this case, I'm not going to attempt to keep this URL. Okay. Well, it looks like it hasn't messed it up. Niki, All right. Can anybody hear me and see me at this point? I think it's working now. So, yeah, so there's a huge thunderstorm right now, and the power went out. So I think I'm going to end the stream. I'm really sorry to end it so abruptly, but I think I'm going to end the stream because the odds of the power going back out are pretty good. So I don't want to keep having this video once it's available again have these huge gaps in it. So yeah, so I'm just gonna end this now. Try to keep working on it. Maybe I'll switch to my laptop so that I don't have to deal with the power going out. But anyway, thank you all for watching and for your help and advice during this. I'm still gonna keep working on this. So this is an important thing. Like this really needs to get finished before we can launch. Probably other than that, I'm going to add some more custom post types and custom fields and have my my student workers fill that data in, and that'll basically be what I'm up to. Let's see, Thursday. I'll try to get a stream in tomorrow. It'll probably be from home. So I will try that. If not, I'll be back next week. And as always, I'm available on all different social media things. You can ask me questions. And yeah, so until next time, have a wonderful day.